Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, friends, and thanks to our presenting sponsor, the Coffee Roasters Mastermind group, coached by the fabulous Anne Cooper. If you're looking at getting help with your roast curves or anything to do with production roasting or home roasting, check the show notes for the link and go and read the description of the Mastermind group and see if it's for you today. mapperforward.org/group coaching. And we hope that you'll join us there. Today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about, has the definition of hospitality changed as a result of the pandemic? And this is an interesting discussion because if you look at how businesses have had to adapt and the fact that there are a lot of small businesses in the coffee sector that are kind of thinking that we're out of recovery, or we're in recovery from the pandemic now. Observing what hospitality means is a very interesting thing to explore. People, as we come out of this last bout of what the pandemic was, because it's not over yet, and as we look at the issues that are around staff shortages, as we spoke about in recent episodes, if we're starting to consider the ramifications of the pandemic when it comes to how comfortable we are being close to people and how hospitality really does require a sense of engagement and oftentimes spending time talking with people and being personable. Well, the pandemic has certainly shifted that for most people, certainly not in Australia. I can tell you, I feel like I walked out of America, went through a wormhole and went back to 2019. That's what being in Australia feels like right now. But outside of Australia and perhaps New Zealand, the way that we connect with staff has with customers. The way staff connect with customers has absolutely changed. The way that we feel comfortable, despite what we want to be comfortable with, but the way that we do feel comfortable connecting with other people in hospitality has changed. Now, if we add to that the fact that it's now difficult to find staff, the way that we run hospitality-focused businesses is going to have to change. Now, at the cornerstone of hospitality is connection. At the cornerstone of hospitality is how we relate and communicate with the people who we are showing hospitality to. So if somebody comes into your house, your job as a host, somebody who is being hospitable, is to make people feel welcome and make people feel comfortable and safe and happy and meet their needs. Offer them things that you think that they'll like and make the experience as joyful as possible. The hospitality experience in the cafe is certainly no different, or should be certainly no different. But if we consider the pandemic and we consider the lack of staff, how do we adapt to a new type of hospitality? And in this discussion, we're going to explore some options. So in the previous episode, we talked about what it was like if we have to adapt to hospitality environments with no staff. We talked about automation. We talked about pivoting our business models so that we were teaching people how to brew at home, so that there was less time spent in the cafe, you become more of a retail store. So how do we adapt hospitality models so that we can make sure that our customers still feel welcomed and looked after and respected and heard, while also being able to deal with the limitations that we're being presented with? Now, at a base minimum, when we're looking at how we do that and succeed as a viable small business, I would go back to a recent episode and talk about something that we spoke about. How do you sell more coffee? Well, this is applicable in this moment as well. I would say revisit your customer profiles. So who are the 5 categories that you'd use to describe your 5 different types of customers or 3 different types of customers, and figure out who they are and what hospitality would mean to them. Being hospitable to a millennial has a different definition to being hospitable to somebody who's a Gen Xer. Being hospitable to somebody in one city is different than being hospitable to somebody in another city. Now, if you have moved businesses, if you've moved cities, or if you choose to start selling outside of your state, what you will find is that you will have to adapt your hospitality structure if you're selling online versus if you're selling in person. Hospitality shouldn't change. Let me say that differently. Whether you show hospitality shouldn't change based on the change in customer profile. Adapting, though, to the times that we are currently being faced with and the times that are coming is necessary, and adapting to different formats of hospitality that encompass the resources that you have available to you will continue to have to evolve and are important more than I can express right now. Your hospitality as a brand is going to be more valuable, I suspect anyway, is going to be more valuable than it was even in the pandemic if we do start to see the economic challenges that are coming to everyone around the globe. Because your ability to show people that they are seen and heard when they engage in your business, even if they're spending less with you than they previously spent, is going to, what's the word that I'm looking for? Is going to pay dividends in your financial situation as well as your life currencies in ways that you couldn't even fathom as we get deeper into whatever it is this economic situation that's unfolding becomes. So, is hospitality different because of COVID? 100%. But it's not done evolving. And you have to make a choice now whether you continue to adapt and redefine how you will show hospitality in your small business as you continue to pivot to the presenting challenges ahead of you, or whether you choose, I don't want to adapt anymore. It's time for me to bow out gracefully and find something else to do. And there's no shame in that. Times are going to get tougher. Despite what people think, it is my genuine belief that after this weird kind of false sense of prosperity that we're going to go through, and people are going to finally figure out, actually, the economy is in trouble. You really can't print a whole bunch of money and have no recourse for that eventually. So we'll see what happens. I hope we're all going to be okay. As I said in a previous episode, I hope the dragon that's coming flies our way and flies over us and goes somewhere else. And we live to fight another day. Here's hoping. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day.